The second C is on commitment. Let me take an example from a cricket game. One player pushes the ball away from the boundary at the last minute, and two others back him up through excellent collection and throwing. Together they save a run. Now you may think it's just one run. Now you may think it's just one single run, but every run counts in a match, doesn't it? This is commitment. Commitment to the game, commitment to work, commitment to excellence. It all starts with one's personal internal commitment to oneself. Personal internal commitment makes you go the extra mile and put in your best. So, what inspires commitment? Shared vision, shared goals, well defined roles and responsibilities on who does what, when, why, with whom, and where. And of course, there are service level agreements where a client is involved, the formal agreements that are defined. But many a time within the teams, we really do not have such clear agreements. So the team lead has some expectations from the team member has some expectations from the team lead, and the one team member has a certain amount of expectations from the other team members. So it's important that expectations and intentions be translated to clear mutual agreements defining outcomes, timelines, and deliverables. This helps reduce and eliminate misunderstandings, assumptions, and ambiguity within the team. And this level of clarity helps boost productivity, performance, and therefore commitment. Valuing the team members and their contribution, and well, that's precisely what the geese do. They keep on honking and encouraging each other, bolstering their collective commitment as they traverse thousands of miles. Another example comes to my mind is a maid that we used to have. My younger one was just about a few months old, and I had told my maid that if she doesn't show up one day, she at least needs to inform me latest by the previous night. And this lady was so committed to her work that she would just if she doesn't show up, she would inform me at least one day before. And there was a time when she was not able to reach me on the phone, and there were like 100 missed calls from her. Now you may think, well, see, there was no formal agreement between us, because not a written formal agreement, but for the maid it was a commitment that she kept. And she was such an inspiration and an example, because we actually referred her to other people, saying that, yes, her work may not be up to par, 100% perfect, but given her commitment, she was someone you could trust and rely upon. And this is exactly what Simon Sinek again speaks about in the video that we'll be watching, on how being there for one another and trust is such a basic tenet of teamwork.
Let's look at commitment. First, something that I recollect, some anecdote of the armed forces. So what happens is, in the battlefront somewhere, there is one soldier. See, battlefront means what? People are fighting from their trenches, dugouts. They are all inside the trench, and fierce battle is on. There are bullets flying right and left. There are artillery shells coming from all over. You don't know, any minute the bullets are zipping past, and if you hear the sound, you are happy that you are alive. If you don't hear the sound, you are not alive. That's the situation. That's generally the situation. Okay. Now, in this particular point of time, one section commander is responsible for 10 people. One section commander comes to know one of his colleagues, soldiers, Jawans, is dying. He comes to know because he is looking at him there. He is what, about 10-15 meters away in the next trench. He knows that man is dying, and he also has his responsibility of keeping the territorial integrity intact on the borders. The whole nation behind depends upon this single individual, meaning this troop, for that stretch of land. Something tells him, I must go there and look him up. So he calls in the radio, calls his platoon commander, his boss. He says, sir, this is what has happened. I will go across to his trench and get back a little after some time. Now this man on top is worried. He says, no, it is a fierce battle going on. We don't know what will happen to whom. And if you also leave, there is going to be a gap here, vulnerability. And therefore he says, no, don't do that, it will not be right. You secure yourself first. I need you. I cannot lose you also. This is something that the higher commander is facing. He is also sitting in some bunker behind. Similarly, all these bullets are whizzing past him, and he has to decide on so many things. It's just one section here. He has got two more sections like this on his left and right. But there is something called commitment to my folk, to my friend, to my colleague, to my brother at arms. He crawled out of the trench. He went into that bunker where that dying soldier looks at him, and after a few seconds on his lap, the section commander's lap, he breathes his last. He comes back. And then he reports to the platoon commander, sir, I was there, and we have lost him. He is no more. The platoon commander says, I told you not to go. I told you not to go. Why did you risk yourself? The section commander, keeping all his emotions together, he says, sir, I went there because my presence there felt so good to him that he breathed his last very easily. The last words were, sir, I knew you will come.
What is commitment? Commitment is a deep intent to make sure things happen the way we envision. Let's think through a simple example. Let's all think about a project that we all want to accomplish in a certain duration. What we need to do is plan the micro level details. Okay, let's take up the activity of planning. Who's going to be doing what work? What are the deadlines? What are the resources needed? How much time it would take? What are the contingencies if things did not go our way? These micro level details need to be thought through, and actions need to keep happening. It is not okay to say that I will do the project, because that is just a surface level commitment. Commitment goes deeper. So when do we meet next? What are we going to discuss? After our discussion, who's going to own the individual action items of the meeting? Who's going to track whatever doesn't go according to plan? So, if you see these two approaches, there is a deeper sense of commitment in one, and there is this constant focus on the project execution. So, commitment is about being fully involved in what we want to accomplish, keep watching for obstacles, keep ensuring that people are in sync, and making progress. Commitment usually involves words like date, time, contingency, backup, plan of action. So, it does not talk vague words like it will be done and we will do it without a date or a time. It will not assume that everything goes according to plan. Should things not go to plan, what are the ways to mitigate it?